Salutations, Lumineers, and welcome to the Lorcana Rundown. I'm Silver,
I'm Andrew.
and this is our first episode, so it's
Yeah.
great to be here. There's been a lot of buzz recently about this exciting new game coming out from Disney. It's being published by Ravensburger, who are more predominantly known for their board games
Yeah.
and puzzles. Board games and puzzles. So the card game seemed a little weird. A lot of people were very skeptical at first, but we've finally gotten our hands on some product, and it is turning out to be a lot cooler than any of us really thought.
That's right. We stood in line for 3.5 hours at Gen Con waiting for this product. We conquered Line Kana. So yeah, without further ado, let's go over the game. So Lorcana is your standard trading card game. As we already said, it's owned by Ravensburger. It is Disney. So there's going to be a lot of Disney characters that you are familiar with and so forth. To start a game of Lorcana, we recommend when they do release, you get one of the three pre-con decks that will be coming out, and maybe find a friend that'll play with you.
So the three pre-con decks come each in 2 color combinations. In Lorcana deck building, your deck must be 1 or 2 ink colors. There are 6 inks. So the first starter deck is Amber and Amethyst. That's yellow and purple, which is the only deck we actually brought with us today. So this is just randomly Amber. You might hear it called yellow. Amethyst, you'll probably hear it called purple just because Amber and Amethyst are a little bit of a mouthful.
A little bit.
The other 2 starter decks, one is Emerald and Ruby. The other is Steel and Sapphire. So that's green, red, and then silver, blue. The Amethyst Amber deck that we brought here is kind of the more aggressive of the 3 decks. It focuses on early and frequent questing, which we'll get to in a minute, and has a lot of card draw and what would you call it? Card draw and
Card draw and more. It's more focused on your characters doing things. So whether it's questing or challenging, which we'll get to, that's kind of the big premise of the deck. It can be very aggressive or what some people would call mid-range, which is kind of like a mix between a little bit of control and a little bit of being aggressive. So when we say control, that means you're controlling like the state of the board with some of your cards. And when we say aggressive, that means you're really going after either your opponent's stuff or just gaining lore. Now, to begin a game of Lorcana, the best way to begin a game is you shuffle your deck up, place it face down, and then you're going to draw 7 cards. Now, you're going to look at all 7 of the cards. We recommend in your first game you don't worry about mulligans. They also recommend that in the rules as well. But if you do decide that you don't like a couple of the cards, you can take any number of the cards in your opening hand, place them on the bottom of your deck, then draw that many cards. Afterwards, you're going to shuffle your deck. You can only do that once, and then whatever you have is what you're stuck with. So now when you begin the game, you're going to look at your cards. Now, as you see here, we have a few different cards with some different symbols on them. Over here on Yzma here, there is a little 2, and there's these swirlies all around the card. That means that card can be what is known as inked.
So inking is the act of creating your resources in Lorcana. Unlike games like Magic or Pokemon, which have very specific resource types, energy in Pokemon or mana in Magic the Gathering, any card in your deck in Lorcana mostly can be a resource, because in order to create a resource, you just reveal a card from the top of your deck. If it has these swirlies, you can ink it, turn it face down in your ink pool, or your ink well rather, and boom, you've got a resource.
And that's from your hand, not from your deck.
Yes.
So if it's in your hand, so let's say, for example, I had Yzma in my deck and I wanted to use it as an ink. Turn it face down. You reveal it. You're saying, I'm going to ink Yzma. Put it face down, and there's your resource. Now, with some of the sample cards, I don't have anything that costs 1, so I would just pass the turn. To know what your cost is, though, is right there in the upper left hand as well. It will be 2, 3, 3, then we have a 5 right here, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, there are cards that can't be inked. For example, if we look at Rafiki here, there's no swirls around that. That means that that card can't be used as a resource. It's only going to be used as a character. And like this card right here, have to look at the part of your world can't be inked either. So that's just going to be something that you play out. Now, there are different types of cards in this game. There are character cards, there are actions, there are songs, there are item cards, and there are, let me make sure we're thinking this correctly. We have characters, actions,
Songs,
items. I think that's it.
Yes.
Yes, there we go. This is a new game. We've both been learning. We've both been memorizing. So as we're telling you about this, we're still learning everything as we're going along.
Which is actually kind of nice. You know, it's nice to be going into a game where everybody's on a level playing field. Everybody's new. You know, you're not having to deal with quite the 30-year skill gap that you have in some games like Pokemon or Magic.
Sure, definitely. So with that being said, let's go over, the start of the turn. So we already explained how to ink. So we've already explained how you draw your cards. We've already explained how you're going to ink. So now we get to the part of, what do these characters do? What can they do? So let's say let's go ahead and do it this way. Let's say I have 3 resources, just like so. We're going to pretend that one is a resource card that I can use as ink.
Can't see your thing.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So let's say we're going to use these 3 for resources. So I'm going to tap 3 here, or exert 3 resources. See, I'm still a Magic player, so I keep using the wrong terminology. And we're going to play Rafiki. Now, Rafiki is a character. It does have different titles, so it's a mentor and sorcerer. It costs 3 to play, and it has 3 power and 3 toughness. So that means with the 3 power, it can deal 3 damage to another character, and then the little shield means it can take up to 3 damage before it is what is known as banished. When a card is banished, it goes to your graveyard. Now, or your banish pile.
Your discard banish pile.
Discard, yes.
I do want to just jump in here real quick. In games like Pokemon and Magic, the goal is to take out your opponent's characters, their creatures, reduce their life total. In Lorcana, you are racing your opponent to 20 lore. So, see this symbol right here? This little white diamond that's kind of hard to see with the glare? That's the amount of lore you could get with just questing with Rafiki. So to quest, it's a lot like attacking. You just exert the character. So you tap it. And you say, quest for 1. Now, questing does open you up to attacks on your opponent's turn, so you want to be careful with that.
And something really important to mention here, too, is whenever you play a character card, you have to, for most cards, you have to wait for what's known as the ink to dry. That means when it comes out, you can't exert it right away to get a lore or to challenge. Now, with Rafiki, though, Rafiki has an ability called Rush. And what Rush allows you to do is it allows you to immediately exert Rafiki to challenge. So Rafiki is one of those characters that are used to really go after other exerted cards that your opponents have, like in a real quick manner. So I played Rafiki, and let's say my opponent has a tapped 2/2. So, or an exerted 2/2. So what I'm going to do...
Look, I've got an exerted 2/2.
Oh, there we go. So let's say there it is, the exerted card right there. I go, okay, I am going to exert Rafiki to challenge Magic Broom. Mine is a 3/3, that is a 2/2. So they're going to deal damage to each other. Rafiki will take 2 damage, so it's still going to be out there. Magic Broom will take 3, so it will be banished and put into the discard pile.
Yoink.
Bye, Magic Broom.
We hardly knew you. Actually, you'll see Magic Broom pop back again and again and again, but we'll get to that in our first gameplay video.
Yes, that will be a gameplay thing. Now, after you've done that, it will stay exerted for the rest of your turn, unless you have another card or an ability that allows you to what's known as readying it again, but we'll get to that in a moment. And
I think that one would probably be better left for the gameplay because it's a lot easier to
Sure.
understand some of these mechanics and terms as you see them.
Yeah, you're definitely going to learn more once you see some gameplay.
For right now, the important thing to remember is that your goal is to get to 20 lore before your opponent does.
Yes.
And there are a lot of ways in the game to stop your opponent from doing that, to slow them down, and also speed you up. And as we get through the series, we'll try to hit on some of those more interesting ways to do it than just turning cards sideways. But back to kind of the parts of the card. We touched on the ink cost, which is up here. These little triangles on the side of the card are your lore markers. Most, but not all, character cards have some kind of a lore value. You'll see here, Rafiki's got 1. Moana has a whopping 3. I think the highest I've seen on cards so far was 4, but I could be misremembering. And then a lot but not all cards have abilities on them. So for Moana, for instance, she has the weak and fix it ability, which when she quests, she can ready your other princess characters.
Yes.
With the caveat that they can't quest for the rest of the turn. So in a Lorcana turn, you have the option to play characters or play a card or cards, as many cards as you have ink for. You can create 1 ink. You can quest with a character, assuming its ink is dry. You can exert a character to challenge or exert a character to use one of its abilities. You can also use items or something like that. But you can do that all on your turn as many times as your turn will allow in any order. That's what I wanted to say. So there is nothing saying you can't, quest with one character, challenge with another character, and then quest with, whatever order you want to do. There is no stack in Lorcana like there is in Magic or Flesh and Blood. Everything is very first in, last out.
It's very much focused on your turn. There's not a lot of things that you can do to interact during your opponent's turn. That's where it's kind of similar with Pokemon. Is with Pokemon, you're basically doing everything on your turn, then passing and seeing what your opponent does. It's the same thing almost in Lorcana. You're going to do everything on your turn, placing your ink down, playing your characters, doing your actions. You do that all on your turn, and then you're going to pass and you're going to see what your opponent does. So it's definitely a game of, planning out things of when you want to exert, when you want to challenge, and different things like that. This game has a lot of potential for comboing and doing a lot of different things, which we will show more in a gameplay video in the near future. So just to recap of what we've explained how you start a game of Lorcana. We've explained what each part of the card means. Your cost, your ink, power and toughness, how much it quests for, how much lore it gives you when you quest, and the text box, if there is one. Some cards don't have a text box. Some cards are just normal cards. So that is what these cards do here.
Now,
yeah.
First, the question that everybody has in their mind is, when can I get my hands on Lorcana?
Yes.
Because everybody's talking about how short allocations are, how scarce this product is. If you look on eBay right now, there are Gen Con promos selling for $80, $100. The promo cards from D23 when this game was first announced are in the thousands of dollars already. Yeah. I've actually seen people paying several $100s for enchantment rarity cards. That is the highest rarity. It was a secret rarity revealed at Gen Con. It's a full art foil version of the card. It's really gorgeous, pretty rare. Think of it as, your full art foil alt art mythic card in Magic the Gathering, or your secret rares, your secret rainbow rares in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Majestics in Flesh and Blood. It's kind of on that rarity scale. So right now, collectors, scalpers, everybody's going haywire over this product. So how can you get it? August 18th, the game will officially be available in local game stores only. So check with your local game stores, see if they're going to be able to sell any product. Some stores will, some stores won't, just because not every store got a good allotment. I have heard that stores are getting more starter deck product than they're getting booster boxes or accessories, but I'm trying to think specifically. The Illumineers Trove, that's what it is. The Illumineers Trove.
Gotcha.
So the Trove is sort of like the fat packs or bundles in Magic the Gathering, or the ETBs, Elite Trainer boxes in Pokemon.
Yeah.
So it comes with a couple boosters, deck box sleeves, all those goodies. I've seen those on TCG Player running right now well over $100, $200.
Yeah, they are.
And I think MSRP on them is about 50, if that.
Yeah, so it's definitely, for when it comes to release, like right now, everything is really high right now because this is a new game. Not a lot of it is out, so people are trying to take advantage of that. But as Silver was saying, it releases to local game stores on the 18th of August, so this month. And then it'll be hitting big box stores September 1st.
So that's going to be your Best Buy, your Target, Walmart, GameStop. And some of those stores are doing pre-sale right now even on their websites. I have heard that Best Buy especially has been getting sold out as soon as they stock up. So keep an eye out. I know online shopping for things like this, when the scalpers are going crazy, can be a little... You're racing against bots. It's going to be hard, but the product is there. A lot of it is also being set aside for Disney parks.
Yes.
So really DisneyStore.com, Walt Disney World, Walt Disneyland, they're really pushing it on Disney platforms.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little difficult to get it, especially with this first set. But Set 2 is going to be coming out in November, and we're supposed to be getting all kinds of crazy stuff for the holidays, from what I've been hearing. So no guarantees yet, no news on that, but the product will be available.
Definitely, and it's going to be a really fun game, you guys. I can't stress it enough. We've been playing a little bit because we have all three of the starter decks. We also picked up a box when we were at Gen Con, and we just really, really, really enjoy the game. It has a good feel to it. It's very easy to learn and pick up. The rules are very simple, so you can be kids can be as young as they want to be when they start playing this. And then you can also be an adult like us and enjoy it too, and it has a really easy learning curve.
The rules are simple but very nuanced because of how the mechanics play together. Yeah. And I think that's really great. I've seen a lot of news outlets calling this a game with generational appeal, or a generational game. So It's something that parents can enjoy, kids can enjoy. Everybody has this nostalgia attached to the Disney characters, the IPs involved here. And we even noticed this playing just around our house with our friends. It's a great way to just kind of have fun making random associations, like who would think of, Rafiki from The Lion King, or Yzma from Emperor's New Groove singing Part of Your World. So it leads to some fun interactions just on an interpersonal level as you're playing casually. And speaking of casual play, there have not been any announcements about constructed competitive play, at least on an official level yet. Ravensburger has, I believe, said that there's not going to be anything in the first year, but whether that means calendar year or just not until 2024 is anybody's guess. Makes sense they wouldn't want to do it on the back of just one set.
Yeah, they really want to get I think they want to get the game out there.
Yeah.
And they want people to enjoy it and play it before they go too, I guess the word hardcore, into anything too competitive, which I think is a smart move.
Yeah.
They get the product out there, get the game out there, let people play it, and then you can start, making those tournaments, making those big
It's hard to compete if you can't get product in hand. But I'm really excited
Yep.
to be covering this game for Game Talk Network, and I'm looking forward to doing some openings as we get more product in, doing some gameplay videos.
Yeah.
And if you've got any questions, feel free to drop us a comment. We've got a lot of articles on Game Talk Network about this game. I've been tracking it since it was announced at D23. You can also tag me on Twitter. I'm at Literary Magpie. And there's a Gmail account for the Game Talk Network that I cannot remember, but I'm sure it'll be in the comments.
Yes, definitely check that. Yeah, definitely just leave a comment. Let us know what your favorite decks are, what you're really excited for about Lorcana. You can also go to GameTalkNetwork.com and also check out the articles, just like Silver said. Leave comments on there and everything as well. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think we covered everything.
I think we've covered everything and then some.
Yeah. So yeah, keep a lookout for that gameplay video where you'll see more of how the game works and interacts. And yeah, so I think that's about everything that we have so far on Lorcana. So I think we can end it right there.
Yeah, I think we can wrap this up. So thanks for joining us on the Lorcana Rundown. I'm Silver.
I'm Andrew.
And we will see you later this week for some gameplay.